Okay, as the drizzling continued with white gloss apple barrel, and it's even in a smaller bottle, which gives you a little bit more control. So if you can find it in the smaller bottles, I would advise that. And these are just little saute sticks that are pointed, and I usually have the paint run off the pointed end. So this is all there is to it. I'm thinking of the gesture. The hair has wonderful gesture. You can see it's quite curly. You can just jump in and go for it. I also want to introduce you to another toy that I just learned about this past year called the Gouda bottle, Gutta. And what it is just a little bottle, and you put the different size tips on it. I like to use a number 0.5 millimeter, and using this acrylic, I just simply fill the bottle. Only takes a few minutes. And then I take and snap this cover on. Snap, snap. And now I'm ready to come in and do my drawing. And you can see it gives you a continuous, thinner line. I actually have a silk artist friend named Nancy who told me about this. And thank you, Nancy. This has been just a great opportunity. I bought every size silk pins they had at Walmart, and I found out that number 17 fits the 0.5 millimeter top. And see, this is very cool. After I fill it, I put that silk pin in it, and I just leave it on its side. And then I found out that I like putting the white in a little bit bigger tip. So this is a 0.7 millimeter, and I found that the number 28 silk pin fits the 0.7. Now that you know about how cool the Gouda bottle is, what I can do, and I don't plan to do much with the Gouda bottle on this particular Drizzle dog, but I thought it would be nice to save like the highlights on the eyes with this, and maybe just a little bit of extra along the edge of the eye, just to keep the paint out of there. And as soon as this dries, we'll be able to start painting. Oh boy, we're ready to put some color down. We're going to start by wetting the paper, both front and back, so it doesn't get too much water in between here. Now, using my 1.5 inch wash brush, I'm going to start painting the background. But I just want to mention how important it is to paint those eyes in and try to capture that personality of the dog before you even put any paint on the paper. And you can see I did it with a mixture of alizarin crimson and phthalo green, both very transparent colors that become very dark. So those eyes and that nose and that mouth are very dark. And I just allowed a little bit of the alizarin I kind of bled it out to give him kind of a little base color on his body. So let's start. We're going to start with my quinacridone burnt orange. And this is what we're going to do is use complements. I'm going to use quinacridone burnt orange and cobalt blue. And these two colors together will form a gray. So my whole purpose is to put the color down pure and mix the gray color on the paper. So we're just going to start with the pure quinacridone burnt orange, painting wet into wet at this point. Activate the color, get it going on your palette, painting around the shapes. And now we're going to start seeing some of those interesting little flyaway hairs there. And as always, it's very important to connect that color to the edge of the paper. So let's come over here and connect it over here too. Again, kind of framing in this little rascal. Little lighter in the corner. A little darker under here. Now I'm noticing it's already a little bit dry. So keep your handy mister, keep it wet. Let's pull that, bookend that dark over here. And then we do want it darker at the bottom. Dark, 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 dark. Now that's a lot of orange. Won't hurt to connect to the edge here either. Now we're ready to come in with our pure cobalt blue. And when you put this color right on top, see what's happening? We're going to get those lovely grays and darks. It's going to go darker. Now before I start putting this blended color in, the first thing I want to do is give them some little pink ears. So I'm going to come in here and put in some cute little pink ears. And maybe just a little bit more pink around the eyes and the mouth here. And just a hint, like on his shoulder here. Just a little hint of that pinky color. One of the things you don't want to happen is you don't want to get too dark. You want to keep a nice contrast between the white dog and the dark background. So again, I'm just going to come in with a little bit of this soft pinky tone. Then I'm going to pick up now a blended color. Notice I switched to a round brush. And I can go between a warm gray and a cool gray. So I'm going to keep it a little bit cooler under here. A little bit warmer around the eyes. Again, I'm just going to lose those edges with some water. I might even just pull a little bit of this color from the outside in. And it needs to be darker under his chin. I'm assuming this is a he. So in order to have his face come forward, we need to go a little bit darker under here. Now don't get too dark. It's a white dog. And then we need to pull some of the darks up from the bottom here so that we're going to form his legs. So it's going to be darker through here. And I want a little bit of cool dark in the ear. Well, here's our little Westie, pretty close to being done. What he needs now is just a little topping off of shadows. So using the same colors, this is my cobalt blue, my quinacridone burnt orange. And remember, you can make it warmer by adding more orange and cooler by adding more blue. So you want to decide if you want a cool shadow or a warm shadow. I'm going to keep the shadow warm in his mouth area. So I'm just going to come in here and add just a few more shadows. So I kind of stroke it in and then wet my brush out, touch it on a tissue, and just lose those edges. So now we need to build up a few more darks under his chin, and of course always softening those edges. And then even down here, if we want to get the feeling that he's got a couple of paws here, we're going to have to go just a hair darker. Just a hair. And then when you get a chance, I always like to dampen my tissue and then wipe off the paint. And then some of you might need to put just a hint more pink in those cute little ears. I think we're close to as pink as they need to be. But there you go. Well, I hope your little Westie goes well.